Logan Paul has put me in a very tough spot. So, Logan Paul boxed Floyd Mayweather, and they agreed before the fight if it went to a draw, Logan wins. They agreed to this. They revealed these rules to us, the audience, and then asked us to not only give of our time, they asked us to part with our money. There was a transaction done. There was a retail transaction done. It's a very reasonable thing for me, a viewer who followed this, to listen to the rules and then apply those rules after the fact. That's reasonable. In fact, I can't think of a sport ever where that's not exactly what happened. A Super Bowl by example, okay? That's a game that is contested in a discrepancy of scores within a constrained amount of time. So when the final whistle blew, and I look at who has the higher score, and I then believe that they're the winner, but the other team denies it, and their fans deny it, and members of the media deny it, and the history books won't write it down because it is a contested fact, that for me is unfathomable. I think for you as well, I might have lost you on the example. It has simply never happened. So Logan and Floyd go out to box. And just to remind you guys of this, they go out to box. But we find out that they're not boxing as we know it. There's not a commission that's sanctioning and enforcing this. There is no predetermined rule set in place by example. So, and that made a lot of sense. Like the word exhibition hurt that fight. The word exhibition is not a helpful word in the vein of promotion in North America. It actually is elsewhere. Do you know why Visa chose the word Visa? Do you guys know this? You'll take this with you. You'll remember this. It'll be the most important part of this video. Do you know why Visa calls itself Visa? They did a search with some really intelligent people, and they just wanted to make sure that that word wasn't a word in any language of the world. So they named it Visa because right when they go to these other parts of the world, they could still call it Visa. And like it doesn't mean dinner, or it doesn't mean soup, or it doesn't mean shoe in some other language. Did you know that? I bring that to you because it's really important that you understand these words. And in no sport have we, the audience, been asked for our time and, more importantly, our money. See, that's where the crime comes in. It's illegal in retail sales. It's illegal. So they came out and they told, and we were wondering, right? We were really wondering, how did the commission, I think this was in Florida, by the way, how did the commission agree to take Logan, who's never done this, and to put him in there with Floyd, who's never lost at doing this? All sorts of world champions. How would they agree to do that? Not to mention there was a weight discrepancy. Big part of the fight had to do with that. Logan openly saying, you're better, you're way better than me. But I'm not bad. Oh, and by the way, I'm bigger than you, and size does matter, which is why boxing generally happens in weight classes. Okay, great. Like, that's not the world's greatest story. I'm just reminding you that was the story. So we were wondering, how would a commission put that together? That's why it got revealed to us. They did it. It's an exhibition, right? And I tell you that it's important that you understand all of these details. There's no words I'm using here that are go to waste. They didn't want to tell us it was an exhibition because that's an unhelpful word. How do you headline a pay-per-view for a boxing match that is not boxing? How do you even call yourself boxing if you're not following standardized protocols for the sport? How do you do it? How do you legally tell me I'm going to get boxing? I'm watching boxing. I'm buying How do you legally do that if you're not boxing? It's a problem. They didn't want to tell us it was an exhibition. But they had to, because the commission also, they needed the world to know. We did not sanction this. Here's a workaround. They found it. We can't stop them. Believe me, we looked into it. They have agreed to let us be there and to give us 6%, even though we're not. I mean, do you guys understand that? Do you know that's part of it? The Florida Commission stood down. You're not boxing. We're going to let this happen. We still want to be there. And by the way, we still want you to pay the fee. So they paid the fee. You can't do both. I mean, I'll just share with you. You legally can't do both. You can't say this isn't what we oversee and we're not going to oversee it. Oh, by the way, pay us. You cannot do that. They did it. All right. So they come out and they tell us the rules. And I want to say it was 2-minute rounds, right? This was a long time ago. I think it was 2-minute rounds. And I want to say as far as the rounds goes, there was 8 of them. And then it was also very clear, right? Because this is a tough sell. This is a really hard sell. You have Floyd, who's never lost, and you have Logan, who's a famous guy. Like, I mean, this just doesn't work. If that worked, Brad Pitt would be in there opposite Mike Tyson, right? Like you don't just take a famous guy against a guy that's really good. Like it's a weird thing. So it was really important that we, the audience, were told the rules so that you had what's known as a hope spot. And a hope spot in the world of entertainment, particularly promotion, is so wildly important. If you don't have a hope spot, you might not have a company. It's that big of a deal. I'll give you a great example. Used to be something called the NWA, National Wrestling Association. That was the direct competitor of the WWF. Ric Flair was the champion. And Rick had won so many times, and he was such a draw, and there was such a separation between Ric Flair and everybody else. I mean, he was so clearly heads and shoulders above that he sell tickets that way. If nobody here is possibly going to believe that we're going to take down our top draw and replace them with one of these guys they couldn't sell tickets in their hometown, right? I mean, you're not reasonably going to believe that they're going to do that. So here's what Rick would do. He would do non-title matches and he would lose. That's what Rick would do to keep ratings, keep interest, keep draw, keep money. He would give the audience a hope spot. Rick would lose in a non-title match, so the belt didn't change hands. He would then rebook a rematch. Now, this one he's really going to charge you for. Whether this is going to be what was known as closed circuit back then, or you got to be live in it, whatever it was, he's going to redo the match, but this time it's for the title. Well, you, the audience, now has the hope. You have the hope and the belief that this person can beat him because this person just beat him. It wasn't for the belt, but they just beat him. It's wildly important. And when Dusty pinned Rick in a non-title match, the world didn't come out and say that Dusty should be the champion. We understood it was a non-title match, right? We understood the rules because they were explained to us in exchange for our time and our money. We get an understanding and an enforcement of the rules. That's all that we get. So they came out and they told us if it goes the distance, Logan wins. Everybody agrees to this. It goes the distance, Logan won. Now, people will laugh and people will snicker and they will do a number of things to not have to face that reality for a couple of reasons. One, the damage that it would do to the sweet sciences, but two, everything's great in Logan's life and they don't want to give him any credit. This guy's rich and he's handsome. It turns out he's a pretty nice guy and people like him. Like, everything's great. We cannot give him a win over Floyd Mayweather. Like, we just can't do it. And they didn't. I mean, you would think media and pundits, you would think would be larger than this. They're not. They're beneath it. They're not bigger or as big as anything. They're beneath it. And you want me to tell you all these things? Because I stand here as the largest and most influential voice in this space. That's not a claim by me, okay? That's a number that you can all see. Go look at my number. Go look at anybody else's. I am the single most influential voice in the sport. And guess what? I tell it accurately every time, including when it pains me. I will tell you my personal feelings towards Jon Jones, and then I will tell the Jon Jones story exactly the way that it happened. And you know that, and we have a trust and a rapport. So I came out and I told you what happened, which is Logan won. Nobody backs me up. Nobody agrees with me. Floyd and his team will not concede. They've taken that clause back. So I guess it's just going to be me and Logan. I guess Logan and Chael are going to have to go on this journey of accurate storytelling together. And guess what Logan did to me? Logan does a spot. It's got some show. I can't think of it. I want to call it Applause. He's got a show called Applause. Applause. That doesn't make sense. Applause. He's got a show called Applause. Guess what he says on the show? He says, I beat Floyd Mayweather, and then he laughs hysterically. He says, I beat Floyd Mayweather, and then he laughs hysterically. The words were, I beat Floyd Mayweather. The laugh was to very clearly tell a story that he did not, and that he doesn't even believe that he did, and that it's a ridiculous statement to say that he did, but he did. He did beat him. So now, Logan's laughing at me. He left me. He left me. The most influential voice. Now, believe me, I'll do it with or without Logan Paul. I heard the rules. I'm aware of the rules. I know it was agreed on. And I know that I'm right. But my biggest piece of support, which was a principal who this directly affects, is now laughing and apparently has joined the other side, that he didn't win. And that was weird. That was a weird thing to do. He then tweeted out in jest, I beat Floyd. He just did it a few days ago. I beat Floyd. So I wrote back and said, that's true. But he's doing it in jest. It's a weird spot, right? Do you guys have auto insurance? Okay. I had Progressive for a moment of time. And stay with me on this example. Progressive mails me something to put in my wallet. I might even have that with me. They mail me something to put in my wallet. Fits in there perfectly, just about the size of a credit card. Now, I'm not talking about your proof of insurance. I'm not talking about what you throw in the glove box so that you got to show the officer when he pulls you over. It was another card. It said 1-800-PROGRESSIVE on the top of it. And it tells you the rules if you're ever in an accident. Call this number. Fill out such and such paperwork. It's a helpful little card. You wouldn't know what to do if you were in an accident. This is a real helpful card. You put it in there, Progressive sent it to me. Guess what? Guess what one of the rules was? And there's only 4 of them. Guess what one of the rules was? Do not admit guilt. Now, they didn't send me the card so that I knew the number to 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. They didn't send me the card so that I knew the 4 steps. They didn't send me the card so that I knew to fill out paperwork. All of that was a guise to have rule number 4. Don't admit guilt. It's the entire reason they sent this out, because if you come out, right, if you're trying to be a nice guy, there's a little fender bender. It's a kid. He looks about 16 and inexperienced. He's starting to cry. You could tell dad's probably going to get a little hand happy with him. This probably is not going to be a good thing when they get home. So to make him feel better and to not throw his confidence for all time, he's like, oh, guy, are you okay? God, this is my fault. Oh, man, I pulled out right in front of you. It's one of those things that you just say. But guess what? Guess what? If you do say it, it is now your fault. You will never take that back. There is no court anywhere. They could have video of it and show you what the law is and make it very clear that this guy did it. If you say it was your fault, believe me, no jury's going to come back and say this guy did it. It's one of those things. There is such an incredible power once you say you can't take it back. So there's 2 people that acknowledge and remember that fight accurately. There's me and Logan. And Logan, for reasons that I don't know, didn't have the courage to stay there. We're the ones that are right. We're the ones that are telling it accurately. It is illegal for them to have sold us something, explaining the rules, and then those not be the rules. We're the ones that are right. But Logan got up and left. So now, in this canoe of righteousness, paddling along alone, once again, is me.